So today we're going to be taking a practical look at triggering automations from the AppSheet database. So Cam's going to show you how to set this up. He's starting from scratch with a blank database and then building it all the way up to trigger some automations. With that, he's going to test the workflow. And then also along the way, we'll probably be doing some debugging, but also a way to check if things are sending or receiving. And that is a big one because you can get in a loop for a while, especially if you don't know where to go to check if something's working or not working the way you expect it to. So we'll make sure to give you that feedback as well. But with that out of the way, let's go into the demo and I'll hand it over to Cam. Oh, you're on mute, Cam.
There we go. As Austin said, we're starting from scratch. And so if you wanted to, you could follow along all the way from the beginning. But you go ahead and create a new AppSheet database from the My Apps page. And this is what you start off with. So none of these columns have been created by me. This is all what AppSheet gives you. And for this use case that we talked about right before this call was a marketing campaign scheduling and manager. And so real quickly, I want to create we'll just go ahead and rename this to marketing calendar. All right. And the very first table I want to create, the first entity in this application that I want to create is, I don't know the correct thing to call this, maybe category. Austin here's the marketer. I want a different person to do the approval based off of what category of campaign it is. So if it's an event, I want Austin at QREW Tech. If it's YouTube video, I want it to be, or if it's like a YouTube campaign like Gantt chart, and we're doing a lot of YouTube videos, I want to maybe send me the approval and so on. What do you think the word should be? Category?
I think category is fine. Yeah.
So I'll say categories right there. This is the category that defines the, I'll say type of campaign. All right. And all this other stuff looks good. I think I'm zoomed in a little bit too much to see the save button. So I'll zoom out one, hit save. So we've retitled the thing. And so I'm going to rename the columns that it gave me. And I'm going to change title into category name.
So I see. You're making like an enum table here. Is that?
Yeah, making a pick list for us to reference the campaign and the category so that we can map out who receives the email. So I'll go ahead and edit this column right here. That is assignee. And I'll say manager. So we need a different manager for different categories. So we'll hit save. And that's going to be email. And we'll change all that stuff. We don't need a status for this use case, so we'll delete that. And we'll delete that. So a very simple table. And this is just going to be a pick list for us to pull from in the future. And so some ideas, we can say event. We'll say Jenna will be our event person. We'll say Jenna at
her. Did you see that? Her email popped up.
Oh yeah, it will auto suggest. But that's I'm crazy. Going to do AppSheet training.
Yeah.
All right. And then
I didn't know it did that. That's like,
yeah.
And she's not in the in AppSheet if you want.
I think it's because of my contacts. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty crazy. Because on a Google Sheet, you would expect that behavior, but
yeah,
if you type the @ symbol.
If it's an email campaign, let's go ahead and honestly, I'll also do Jenna.
Yeah.
All right, it's got the copy paste in.
Is pasting a new feature?
I don't know how new, if it was new. I don't believe.
Yeah.
I think they're working on or have completed multi-line copy pasting, maybe.
Okay.
Next, another idea will be social. And just for the sake of this, we'll go ahead and select social as app@QREWTech.com, the email that I'll be using for this demonstration. That way we can test the bot by sending it to me. And give me one more, Austin, that could go to you.
YouTube.
YouTube? All right.
Yeah.
Austin at QREW Tech. We'll say YouTube.
I'm still Jim.
Oh, you're still Jim. There we go. All right, so now we got our pick list of categories, and we got the manager that if one of these categories get created, it goes ahead and sends them the email for the approval rather than the wrong manager.
Nice.
All right. And so let's go ahead and add the second table. And so this table that we're going to do is going to be campaigns. So let's go ahead and go to table settings, rename this to campaigns. Again, I am not a marketer, and so I am not suggesting that you copy this for your own marketing campaign scheduler.
Right.
But I'm going to go ahead and call this one title. I think that's a good one. And then we'll go ahead and add in our category table.
Cam, when you're designing databases, are you, especially like on the first go around, are you particular about naming conventions, or do you kind of just get it going and then worry about naming conventions once it's kind of in use and you start seeing some patterns? What's your philosophy there?
I would say if I'm intending on, I don't want to use anything that inside of AppSheet expressions mean something else. So I don't want to use any of the keywords that are found inside of functions of AppSheet expressions.
Okay.
So we don't want to use words like select. We don't want to use, I'm not saying that's going to automatically break it or not break it.
Right.
But we don't want to use select. We don't want to use any. We don't want to use and or lookup. We also, if you are intending on scaling this up to a SQL database at some point, you might want to think about what are friendly SQL database naming conventions. And then there's a lot of them. There's snake case, there's camel case, Pascal case. There's a lot of options that are really just preference for you. Different languages that you want to like use this for. So if you connect that SQL database to Python or JavaScript or app scripts, like you might want to also think about that type of stuff as well. But within AppSheet plays really friendly with different table name, with column names and table names. So in AppSheet database instance, a lot of times I'm just using capital letters, spaces. But if I'm doing a database or intend on moving the app to a database eventually, I'll start following SQL naming conventions right off the start.
Nice.
For category, I select a different data type, and that was column reference. So you go to link to table and then hit reference. And the table I want to reference is the categories. So whenever I am, okay, it's saying that anything that is not a valid option in the past records is going to be overwritten because categories are not what they were text. Okay, So I have title and category, very minimal. But one thing I wanted to point out was I noticed this thing right here, calculated column in preview right now, where you can use AppSheet expressions. And so I'm going to use this column right here and say manager. And let's try this out. So I want to grab that reference that we just did, which was category. And then I want to take from that category the manager. And so now we have a calculated column where we select the category. We said YouTube is Austin.
Mm-hmm.
When I click this, it will autofill manager over here with Austin at QREW Tech.
Nice.
And so that's an in preview feature, calculated column within AppSheet Database right now. So go ahead and check that out. That's pretty sick. So you got expressions inside of AppSheet Database. I don't think that was there last time.
Yeah. Like last week?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Or I just missed it. I'll have to look back at that video.
Yeah.
I knew it was something that they were working on. I wasn't sure if it was something out yet.
Yeah.
But other than a title and a category and a manager, let's go ahead and do an expected start date.
Does the expression populate on the AppSheet app as well once it's created?
I would assume that's the case. We can check that out because we'll eventually move this over to an AppSheet app. So we want to select a date, and that's none of these columns down here, but rather date and date time. So we want expected start date. I'm just going to copy that because expected end date's really similar. All right. And
I'm assuming
also
it
going to be
only
a date.
Does formulas, not initial values. That looks like a formula. Yeah. I don't think you can edit it.
Yeah, I have no ability to edit it. It would be cool if it was like add initial value calculation.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little different because when you create a record, it creates the full record of it like blank.
Yeah.
So initial value would be strange because it doesn't really have things to base it off of. Because the other columns are blank. I don't know. All right, so we have these right here. Let's go ahead and just create one. We'll say Gantt, chart, campaign. I don't know. We don't know. Crew doesn't know the exact date of the Gantt chart release. So we're just going to say January 1st. That's not speculation even. That's just me choosing a random date. And we're saying we're going to run that campaign till the end of the month. All right, so now we have a start date and an end date. We can go ahead and visualize this in different ways. So if we go ahead and add one more, let's choose one that is email. And what's an idea for an email campaign?
Let's see. Well, we have our end of year AppSheet training sale going on right now.
Okay, yeah.
So that is an email campaign. That
is an actual email campaign. If you want to sign up for our courses online, they are 80% off. 80% off. That's crazy.
80% off. Yep.
Yeah. End of year sale for appsheettraining.com. AST.
Yeah. End of the year is coming up quick. There's 2 more weeks to take advantage of that.
What we need to do is add some sort of like business justification. Like when you sign up for Google Next, there's like a copy paste business justification for the purchase of like what it provides you. Like us do that. That way people can get it
into your leadership.
Yeah. So this is running from this has been running from Thanksgiving, right?
November. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Is it last week or third week?
Probably the 17th.
Okay. So we'll say the 17th until the end of the year. and we'll say December 31st. And so now that we have multiple records in here, we can look at this as grid view, but also very quickly, we can check this out as a calendar view. And we can configure this to say we want the expected start date to be the day that it puts it on. So we have end of year sales starts right here. And then January 1st, we have the Gantt chart campaign. But also, not to be confused with a Gantt chart, there's timelines. This doesn't have the dependencies and all that stuff that a Gantt chart would have. But even though it looks similar to one, this is a good representation of this data right here. So I'm going to save this view because I think it's a good representation of this data. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to go to my views, and I'll rename it to campaign timeline. All right, we'll go ahead and hit save. And then next, what we want to do is add an approval system for a manager. So let's go ahead and go back into the grid view. So we want to actually, we want to go ahead and create a new view, and that's the grid, campaign grid. These are just names I'm giving it. It's not something you have to actually type in. But we want to save this grid view. And I want to add a new column that is manager approval. And this will be an enum list. And we want it, not an enum list, an enum. So we want it to be a dropdown. That looks great. And we'll say pending, approved.
Oh, wow. It color codes it for you.
Rejected. Yeah. So you can reconfigure the colors. And I think that's a good option right there. Yeah. This would be nice to be able to have the initial value. But okay. So we'll go ahead and set this as pending. Again, it would be nice for initial value right here.
Yeah. Can you, like, in Google Sheets, you can drag the column down.
Drag the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can copy.
Yeah, true.
Copy a value and then paste the values in multiple columns.
Yeah.
But you can't, there's not a little node that you can pull and drag.
Yeah.
We got Dustman Diagnostics saying, I've never used database view in this context. I've always used the desktop or editor views and incorporated UX UI that way. Yeah, it's cool that you can use AppSheet and never have to do this part, but it's also nice that if your workflow and your user experience does properly suit a Kanban or database experience, that it's an option to you.
Yeah, that's kind of something we were talking about last week too, of like, it's kind of a new thing that we're starting to see at some like reason to be like, yeah, I think some of our users could utilize this view as like a front end view for because it gives you some different views. Does it allow for like user based management? So like only I would have access to see like the campaigns assigned to me?
Yeah, so you can add a filter, and then under the filter you can say like filter by manager. And you can type in like Cameron at QREW Tech.
Yeah.
And only see yours.
Yeah.
But you can't say like manager equals user email
Yeah,
where
and
it's
then like
dynamically automatically created. So I could save this view as Cameron's grid.
yeah, but then
But anybody who has access to this would also be able to select Cameron's grid. There's no like my grid.
gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, you'd basically
I
have to
think
do
all this
the
is something that will eventually come.
yeah
I think that they are pursuing this. I think obviously seems like
yeah
working really hard on Gantt chart.
yeah.
But I think this
I
will
think
be
yeah. I think last week you also shared like the share button is one way you could manage that
hmm
too, is having
hmm
just giving different people access to it.
hmm
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we have this in place. Now we need a way to get this to the manager.
Hmm.
Let's say we're not a company with a sales team of 4 people, 5 people, however many people we have in sales. We're a company that has hundreds. And these 4 managers don't need to be in this app. They don't need to be constantly monitoring this grid and this Kanban board in order to this calendar in order to constantly keep up with if things are being completed or not. But instead, we want them to just be able to manage it from. We want them to just manage it from their email. I thought this would be a good view to add real quick. So
Hmm.
Kanban, we can say this is the manager Kanban of what needs to be approved.
Hmm.
So hit save. There we go. So we have a manager Kanban board where they can move them and slide
Nice.
multiple at the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
However, we want the managers not to have to come here. Instead, it just comes to them in their email and they can take action on that stuff.
Mhm.
For that type of automation, we need to go to apps right here. And we need AppSheet to at least create us at least the structure of an app for us to create an automation on top of it. So we'll hit app in the top right corner
Uh-huh.
and then hit new AppSheet app. And it's going to take the tables that you have in that app, in that AppSheet database, and create a new app using that. And we get to check that one thing that we talked about. If the calculated columns in AppSheet database also create a virtual column inside
Mhm.
of here. So we have
Yeah.
campaigns and we have manager, darkened out. So I assume there's
Oh,
formula,
it's not in there.
but it does say that this is a read-only column because it's being edited by AppSheet databases. So it
Okay.
doesn't actually transfer the expression over, but I think it is still being calculated. It says it's
It
read-only.
might be. Yeah. If
Mhm.
you click on the edit pencil, they might have added
Oh
another
yes, where
because
you see.
on Google Sheets, if
Mhm.
you have it filled in, it has its own box. I wonder if there's
Where is that at again?
uh
Auto compute.
there
Oh
you go.
yep, AppSheet database formula. So it's still you're
Cool.
able to find it, but you're just not able to change it from here. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That
That's
is
great.
pretty cool.
Um, but we want to send them over a detailed view of the campaign and allow them from there to accept it. So let's go ahead and click into one of these campaigns. And let's clean up this view a little bit. So inside of here, we want the header column to be the title. And we can put the category right under that. Oh, it's not, I haven't brought in the category table, so it's
Yeah.
putting in the unique ID. We'll fix that
Yeah.
after we do this other stuff. But we want the manager right here to be able to quick edit the manager approval and be able to select these. It'd be cool if they applied different format rules based off the colors used in AppSheet database.
Yeah.
And we could add maybe a column that's like, it'd be interesting to add a column that says this is the reason why I got rejected, if that's the case.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which we can add that in a second if we want to.
Mhm.
But let's just go ahead and manually adjust these because it put expected start date and end date before the manager approval, where I want that at closer to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like this right here, this
Yeah.
system. We'll email them over this detail view. And from their email, without logging into AppSheet, they'll be able to go to approved or rejected, and so on. And if they do require a change to the date, they can make that change without having to go into AppSheet as well. So they can just do that from here and then hit approved.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
Looks good.
One thing that we're seeing is this little caution sign and this alien language. We need to fix that by adding the table that this is referencing, which if we go into data, go to add new. I wish it suggested it to it because it just built an app straight from that database. But marketing calendar, it recognizes campaigns is already in there. It just needs to add categories.
Nice.
There we go. We got both in there. And that is looking good. Let's go ahead and create an automation.
All right.
Create the first automation. We'll call this new campaign approval. And this is the big part of today's video. Instead of app, that's the trigger, we're going to select AppSheet Database. And now,
so what is significant about that?
Is that usually a bot, when you select app, which is what we usually select for data changes, it's watching data changes that happen within this application. It's not checking for changes made in the database.
Oh.
So if you have an app connected to Google Sheets and you create a record in Google Sheets and you have an automation that sets off an email and stuff after a new record was added, it's not going to trigger if you add that row in Google Sheets, only whenever you do it inside the app.
Oh, wow.
And so the powerful thing about AppSheet Database is that you can trigger stuff from the database also, instead of only from the application.
The app. Yeah.
There's hacks and clever ways to do workarounds by automations that are triggered from the database or other things that are connected to the database. But that's the important thing about this.
Yeah. That's cool.
This is asking.
I'm also, and not to go on a tangent on this video, but the Gmail trigger, I definitely want to explore that one.
Yeah, we are talking to a lot of clients about how to use this Gmail, which if we have time, we can even chat about that.
Maybe next year that'll a topic, because that I haven't explored that at all, but there's so many use cases that
you see that right there? Got the liquid glass drop down. You can see how it's warping the word campaigns in the background. You see that? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. We want this to only happen whenever we add a new campaign using AppSheet Database. Great. Let's go ahead and let's just say we want this to happen when let's see. We want this to happen when manager approval is not equal to approved. And then we also want it to happen if it's that's the case. I can't write expressions. Here we go. Or so when that's the case, or whenever it's not, really we need an and expression. If it's not approved or if it's not rejected already.
So this is just on pending.
Mm-hmm. So
Equals
just
pending.
on pending, but also since there's no initial value on that status, I want it to run if it's blank.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and hit save. And what we want to do is we want to create a new step. Let's go ahead and rename it. This event is ASDB, AppSheet Database, campaign add. Campaign is the weirdest word.
Yeah.
What origin is campaign?
Tell us
It feels painful spelling it.
Yeah.
So we want to send an email, but we don't want custom template. We want embedded app view.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be the thing that is what is special about what we're doing. And so we want to call this one send manager approval. Can I spell more words incorrectly?
I would be just as bad, if not worse.
I was 2 for 3. I was 1 for 3 on the words I spelled correctly.
Yeah.
All right. Just for your understanding, embedded app views allow Gmail users to interact with live app data without leaving their inbox. So limitations with this feature. They have to be a Gmail user.
Mm-hmm.
That's not because Google doesn't play nice with Microsoft and all that stuff. They work great with Excel. It's just that this feature where they physically put AppSheet into the email, Microsoft hasn't built a system that supports that. Gmail is really good. Gmail is owned by the same company, Google, that AppSheet owns. And so we authenticate through Gmail to our AppSheet apps. And so what AppSheet is capable of doing is not only receiving that application, but authenticating it as the person it shows up in their inbox. And so we want this to send to, it's going to send to app@QREW Tech because we don't have it deployed. But instead, we really want it to send to the manager. So for campaign, we have this manager. And then inside of manager of the category, we have email. Currently, it's not showing. Oh, wait, sorry. Manager's already being brought up, but we can just use category, which is a ref, to the get categories table, and then grab manager from there. We did bring in a virtual column. I should set that to email, even though it says text right now. But this is a dereference. So from the category we're selected, we're returning the email of the manager who's in charge of that category. So we'll hit save. And then we'll hit save again. Oh, let's go ahead and fill this out. And so we'll say new campaign approval requested. And so this is done a little bit differently. These templates, see that this says template assistant, not expression assistant. This is a little different than expressions. You don't need to wrap it in parentheses in quotation marks like you would an expression, because it's expecting static text. And the way that you break out of static text and into dynamic values is by using these little double caret signs. Now it's saying this denotes that we are going to be using an expression to return what goes here. And since we use this and there's nothing inside of it, it's saying this expression is empty. But if inside of here we just said hello world, this expression would equate to hello world. But we don't need that. So we're going to put in a real expression into it. So we want the title of the item And then we want to, I have done 4 double brackets. That's crazy. I don't know when I did that.
It happened when you clicked it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there we go. So this brings in the title of the campaign that is being requested. So we'll go ahead and hit save. So it says new campaign approval requests, and then it has
I
a
think that's a
title.
new feature this year too.
What?
That the template editor inside of.
Yeah, it used to just be like a thing that you drag and you would have to extend and type, and it wouldn't show you if it was correct or not.
Yes.
Please.
I was like, I can't remember what it used to look like, but
Yeah, it was
yep.
just a little box in the bottom right corner that you would have to drag.
Yeah.
Please approve, reject this campaign. ASAP. All right. And then under that, so it's going to have the subject. It's going to have the body that just says, please approve or reject this. And then for the view that we're going to show is that detail view that we were working on. So if we go back into here and we see this is called campaign detail in the bottom right. This is the name of the view that we're on. And so what we want to do is when we're in that bot is make sure that that is the view that it will be showing inside the email. So campaigns detail. That's great. This is another point to talk about real quickly. The only views that you can select inside of this are detail views and form views.
Yeah.
The thing that's special about detail views and form views are that they're single record views. In AppSheet, there's single record views and multi-record views. Single record views puts you in context of only one record. So you are in the detail view of this campaign. You are looking at only the details of this campaign. Where the form view, you are only editing or adding these characteristics of this campaign in this form. You're not creating multiple campaigns from this one form. Whereas multi-record views, the other side of this, the ones that aren't allowed to be selected on these are views that aggregate multiple views and summarize multiple views in a single view, and multiple records in a single view. So this is a thing like a table view or a deck view or a card view, but also things like a map view or a calendar view, because each of the individual records or the events on the calendar are a single record and it shows multiple calendar events. All that to say, you can only select campaign details or campaign forms. If we were triggering the bot on a category instead of campaign, we would have options to choose the category detail and category form. And so we're only able to grab the views that are inside the Venn diagram. One side being these are all the campaign views, and these are all the form and detail views. And the overlap are the views that are campaign detail and campaign form. We'll go ahead and select campaign detail with all that being said. And you can actually preview the email body to see what it will look like.
Yeah.
Also a new feature. And this is what was that?
I was gonna say I love that they added this. This was, I didn't. This was one of those features that I was like, I didn't know I wanted this until I had it, and now
send yourself 1,000 emails just testing.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is gonna be inside of your email. This is not gonna be a URL that you click into AppSheet. You have AppSheet inside your email. That's one of the huge, powerful things that AppSheet can do. And it's authenticated. It's not just a Wild West world where anybody can interact with your app if they accidentally get emailed. They have to authenticate and have the app shared with them. And so the manager will be able to approve it or reject it and change the timeline. But let's not try this out just theoretically. Let's actually hit save and do this and see if there's any bugs that we encounter. So I'm going to go back to our marketing calendar, and I'm going to add a row into pending. And the title will be, well, first
Confirm.
we want to select social. That way we can test it sending to app@qrewtech.com. And then the title, a social campaign would be Instagram Gantt campaign. I second guess myself every single time I type campaign.
Yeah.
All right. The manager will calculate in just a moment. Expected start date will be, let's start this simultaneously with the other Gantt campaign. There we go. And then set to pending. Go ahead and hit save. So that might be a bug. We're really relying on manager. Actually, we're not. We're doing a dereference. So it's not relying on that. But we'll see how quickly it calculates that after. It's a new feature to me. But we'll hit save. And so that's been added to this pending thing. I'm going to open up my
it made
app.
two. Did you see that?
Those are the two blank ones. Those are the two blank ones that.
Oh, the
so
Instagram.
If we go to the grid, those are those two blank ones that were there whenever we first created this table.
I meant the Instagram one. Oh, there it goes. It deleted it.
Really?
Weird. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
I think it was like what you were saying when you add the formula, it like creates a holding record or something, and then it adds, and then it puts it on the original record.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of a message right here that is saying that this isn't in our contacts. And so if you see this, you're using AppSheet, I would suggest just adding AppSheet to your list of contacts. And once you do that, you don't need to worry about it ever showing up as spam, if that's ever the case. So I would just click there, and you just add them as a contact, and all of a sudden they'll never show up as suspicious, never show up as a but it worked. We're able to zoom in real quick. This is our test account where we build test automations and other stuff. We do read our email, but don't email this one. You'll get lost. So if you're watching this video and you just saw us use this email, this is the wrong one to try to reach out to. But it worked. AppSheet is authenticated as me, the manager, app@qrewtech.com. And I have received this request to either approve or reject Instagram Gantt campaign with the social category. Let's say me as the manager, I'm optimistic of whenever it will get posted. And so I'm like, I'm cool with this, but let's go ahead and move it up to December 25th or 26th, right after Christmas. So we can do that, and then we can go ahead and approve it. And if we see saving right there, it's pushing the data, and boom, last saved just now. That means we can go over back to the calendar, go to that Kanban board. Might need a little reload. We'll see. But boom,
there it goes.
Already moved to approved. And so now the approval process of this specific campaign has been approved. This approval process has been completed, and that workflow is done without the manager ever having to actually click out of his email, open up AppSheet, let it sync, find the actual record that he's supposed to be approving, approve it, and then go back to his work. He's able to not context switch and complete tasks in the email box that he's trying to close out.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Love it. Sweet. Well, Cam, this is great. Is there also, if creators are building out their automation, where can they go to find out if it's not working as expected?
Yeah. So within AppSheet, there is this manage tab, and then
Mm-hmm.
within manage, there's monitor.
Okay.
And this is specifically if it's just straight up failing, you can go to the audit history, and I'll show you another way to do it. That is the new way to do it. But this will tell you anywhere in the app if there's anything failing. So there's a warning right here. But everything else has been successes.
Mm-hmm.
If there was an error, you would see it in red. However, if you're trying to specifically diagnose a bot, this is a useful resource. But really, the other area that you're going to want to check is go back to the application that the bot belongs to, go to that bot, click into it, and then click monitor right here. When you do that, AppSheet has built an app that has all of your apps inside of it. You click your app right here, it resyncs it, and now it puts all the data in this app in context of your app that you selected. So we have this one selected, campaigns app, and we see that we've only ran one bot today, but you can also go into runs, and then you can see all the bots that ran, and then you can go into all the steps that took place.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
so
I
we
find
can
this
see that
super
everything worked
helpful,
correctly.
like especially when I'm doing like a template app or a template in the docs. Sometimes you're writing like pages of expressions or in the tiny tables you can't see, especially when you're like going back and editing,
Yeah.
and you're updating something. You're like, oh, I forgot one little decimal or one curly bracket.
Yeah. And it's really
And
cool because you can zoom in
mhm,
on really understanding what went wrong with your automation. So
right.
you can see on a full bot level what was the title. We see title right here.
Yep.
This is using a JSON object. Well, JSON is JavaScript object notation. We can see the category, which is doing
Uh-huh.
the key. We can
Yeah.
see the manager. It's PIIing it out. For this, we see the expected start date of when it ran, and we see the expected end date of when it ran, as well as the manager approval was set to pending. So you can see that of whenever it started, but you can also go on the input that initiated it. So
Yeah.
the input that caused this was the creation of the record. We can see the
Mhm.
step that it ran, and then we can see the overall process, which the process is the full list of steps.
Nice.
And so you can really drill in if you have a multi-step process
Uh-huh.
for your automation where it sends an email, it makes a data change, it connects to app
Mhm.
scripts, runs a script, and then returns a value and sends a new email if a value returns true or false. This can go down to 20, 30 steps where you can
Yeah.
really diagnose each of the steps individually and put your finger on the pulse of what's happening wrong. Which is
Nice.
also cool about that because you can also do that on this perspective as well.
Right.
Like this has multiple steps that we were able to see.
I've seen this most utilized when we're doing like
Mm-hmm.
an app audit or something and
Mm-hmm.
diagnosing where's the performance of the app really being hit,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah,
and
there's a
in
lot
terms
of
of
cool
speed.
views inside of here.
Yeah.
So there's like if you go to monitor, there's the performance profile that will
Hmm.
show how fast every sync you've done has
It's
been. So this is a
happening.
very simple app. And so these
Yeah.
syncs are happening in milliseconds.
Yeah.
But it will show you like a breakdown
Hmm.
of the app, and it'll say this specific virtual column takes this long, this slice takes this long to load, this slice takes this long to load. Really helps you diagnose how to speed up your app. That's another topic we can talk about one time, is app performance.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and pull our slides back up. So we just have a few minutes left. We had one question come through where one of our community members was saying he's facing a problem with his project with build and archive part. It should save all operations like edit, delete, but it couldn't. I think, I don't know if you can pull some context out of that, Cam.
I assume this is a change log.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And you're trying to capture. So a lot of times I've built a lot of change logs, and you do this thing where, specifically on deletes, but really we'll first use any other change. You add a record, and then an automation creates a change log of that add. And it draws the columns, the column values, the ID of that record. And it's accessible because that column exists. The bot runs after the add, and so that means the thing exists. But whenever you do an edit, you can say this was the value, this is the value. Here's this.
Yeah.
However, with a delete, you specifically need to use underscore this row before to capture any of the values within the column before the delete. And that's because whenever you delete a column, all the values of each of the column, when you delete a record, all the column values in that record are blank after the delete. They've all been deleted. And so AppSheet has a feature within its expressions that say bracket underscore this row underscore before. And then you do a period, and then you do the bracket in the column that you want to return the value. And so this row before returns the value of what that column was before the change that triggered the bot, whereas this row after returns the column value after the change that triggered the bot. So on an add, you want the value of it after. On an edit, you want the value of it this row after. However, for a delete, you want the value of it before the change, because the value is blank after the change. If you don't specify this row before or this row after, it's going to automatically choose the after.
Oh, not just, well, I guess in the delete case, it would just be blank, right?
So if you're trying to pull the ID of the row that just got added, it's going to be blank whenever you're doing after, because the change was removing everything.
I see.
So yeah.
Sweet. Well, I think that answers that. If you have more questions, feel free to send us an email. I think you might have signed up for some of our live stream resources. So maybe we can send you some additional resources about change logs.
I think we have a video on it too, but
yeah. We'll find that one and send it your way. Some more free resources for those of you that are still on at the end. Don't forget to download our Chrome extension. You can just add it straight to your Chrome browser, and it'll help with expression editing. You get a little library of all your views and your columns, and then you can also save expressions there too. So it's a pretty helpful feature. And then AppSheetTraining.com is our comprehensive library of courses and certification, and we're adding new resources to there. We're going to be making lots of content and updates coming next year. And as Cam put up here, we've got our pro subscription for 80% off. So only $100, and you get access to, I think, 8 courses and a certification for AppSheet. If you are interested in learning more and diving deeper, and you like content like this, and you want to build apps to improve your workflows, that resource is available. And then as a next step, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content, so we can keep making these videos for y'all. And register for all of our live streams at the link appsheettraining.com/livestream. That will also get you signed up for our newsletters so you never miss an update from our team. And then with that, sign up for your AppSheet training account. We have a free version. So if you're just there for the free resources, want to be a part of the community and stay up to date, always welcome to sign up for that free AppSheet training account. All right, y'all. With that, that is it for this week, and we'll see y'all in the new year. Everybody have a great one. Thanks, Cam.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.